Third grade, week 21, plants. Teachers, we're going to start our plant unit this week, and we're going to start with a simple little lima bean. Ask your kids to make some observations on this. I have placed just this one that just came out of the bag right here, and things like the color, the shape, the texture of it. They can drop it on the table and listen to it. What sound does it make? What is this object? What do they think it is? They may not have any experience with it. I want them to make sure they note that little area right there, that little nodule on it, and that it might have a split in it or might not. Everything that could be scientifically looked at on that bean, they need to take note of. And then they can write their observations over here on this little sheet that I've given you, and just jot down little single bullet answers right here. And then they're going to take some measurements. We're going to measure it with a ruler. They can measure it in metric or inches. It's your choice. I prefer metric if they know how to read a metric ruler. And then write that down. Then come over here to their triple beam balance and take a good reading on it. It's probably not going to have much of a mass, so they're going to start with their first writer here. And I'm making sure that my two lines are going to line up at the 0 mark. It's really easier if they'll learn to use this pencil this way so they're not putting weight on it. And I know your kids aren't real good at reading in tenths yet, so let them just read in the whole numbers. So we're going to make that 1. So it weighs has a mass of 1 gram. Let them record that up here under their measurement. And then after they and make sure they draw it. I actually let the earlier grades lay it down on the paper, and they traced around it and drew it. Then they're also going to receive one that's been soaked overnight. They're going to make observations again. It's wrinkly now. It has a different texture. Is that little module still there? So they're going to make all the same observations. Smelling is one I left out. Smell it and see if it has an odor. Smell the other one and see if it had an odor. Use all your 5 senses when you're making observations. And then they're going to put their observations right here. And what did we change? We changed adding water to this. We soaked it overnight. Then they're going to measure that and get a measurement. Then we're also going to find this one on the triple beam. So I'm going to lay it on there. And it's bigger, so it's going to have more mass. We're not going to tell them that. We're going to give them plenty of time to do their measurement. And 3. So it came out to a whole number. So, you could do a real quick math problem here. You could say, well, if this one was 1 and this one was 3 grams, then how much difference is there in them? And they could figure that out. Then on the back, they're going to form hypotheses. Always give students a starter for their hypotheses. And it always starts with, I think that blank, blank, blank will happen. And you might say, when I do what to it. So let them write some sentences here of what they think is going to happen. What you're going to do is put it in a baggie with some paper towels, and we're going to tape it to the window. Teachers, this is what your baggie will look like when it's done. Make sure you put your student's name on the bag with a Sharpie, and put a wet paper towel in there and 2 soaked beans. And then we're going to tape them on the window or the doors by your classrooms.